when you first got the news, the phone call, the text message, I'm late. How was that experience for you?
Like, oh, this is fucked up.
I wanted to be a dad. I was ready to be a dad.
Text message saying, hey, we need to talk. Back and forth, like, what do you need to talk about? Ding! I'm out. You know, fuck this shit. Kindergarten, actually.
Little gang already. What the
fuck? Oh, bro! I fucking love everything cool, dude.
I'm tired of these fake ass humans. I envy plastic friendships that sink ships like an iceberg did. I just want real souls.
So peso pluma got Jack. Welcome to the rap game.
Alright, so welcome back to another episode, Hollywood's Ghetto. This is our Father's Day episode. Father's Day was Sunday?
Monday. 3 days ago.
Yeah, but everybody was busy, so we couldn't have it. It would have been nice, but everyone was busy, but it's cool, so this will be a quick episode. We just have some questions from our perspective as fathers.
21 questions over here, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm Big A.
Pretty much.
Is Mike Mobs over here. He's going to tell us. Okay, so the first question, or the first story.
Shoot it.
Is tell us the story. You don't have to reveal. You can reveal as much as you want. You don't have to reveal everything, right? Tell us the story. Oh shit. Oh shit. Hold on. We have fucking.
Oh.
When did it? Why did you hip hop? Well, it was.
We got Callus in the house. Let me find out.
Hold on. Oh
Better
shit.
What it do, huh?
Better late.
Town, home.
Better late than never.
Oh, dude, I seen the Instagram a little while ago, but I was tied up. What's going on, police?
Dude,
What's going on, Alan?
we just started recording. What's up, Kenny? I'm surprised you got here. Cool, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, man. You guys, this is live.
Yes, we're live and in color.
No, it's not like we're just recording it. I used to do them live, but
Okay.
but
Cool.
live turned into a headache.
Hey, we're live. It's live to us.
But you can hear everything, Kenny?
Oh yeah, I can hear everything. I can hear Maynard talking shit. I'm sure he has some questions about some transmissions.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
Oh shit! This was coming in hot. I like that.
Hey, but real quick, what the fuck? What's up, Alan? I haven't seen you in ages. You know,
just working, dude.
Long time, brother.
Just a lot of work. You know, working. That's all I can really say. A lot of work. I go. I'm a nurse, pretty much. So I do a lot of work that way.
You're a nurse?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Congrats, man.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Definitely congrats on it.
What'd you say?
I said definitely congrats on it.
Yeah. So what's the topic? What we talking about?
Father's Day.
Okay. Hold on. Let me say something real quick. Hey, boo. Hey. I'm on a Zoom right now. Let me holler back.
Wait, I just wanted to show you my. It's like I have an apartment.
Okay. Let me call you. Let me call you right back, boo.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Bye.
We can bleep it out. We can bleep all that stuff out if you want.
Okay, my bad.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. Yeah. No, my wife, she's up in New York right now doing some work shit, man. But yeah, dude. See, it's like right now. I have someone here. My son, it's me and my son, and I got a nanny here, and she's gonna bounce out in probably 10 minutes or so, maybe even less. And then I'm gonna be here alone with him until he crashes out. So I probably won't be able to really dive in until fucking another hour, you know?
Yeah. No, but this will be pretty quick.
Okay, yeah. So what's cracking? Let's chop it up.
All right. So the first question we were gonna start off with, I was gonna ask Mike Mobs here, and you can reveal as much as you like. Is take us back to when you first got the news, the phone call, the text message from your lady saying, "Hey, I'm late." How was that experience for you? Because everyone has these stories.
For sure. So for me, I had my first kid when I was 19, right? So this is way back. With my baby's mom, who I went to high school with. We were kind of on and off. And then I would say it was age 19. She got pregnant when I was I was 18 when she actually got pregnant. So just very young, you know. And I can remember the day we're over there across the street from Gary High School.
Young buck.
What's that?
I said young bucks.
Young dude, it's ridiculously young. But yeah, I was at her crib. I forgot exactly how it came up, but she you know, she was concerned, and we're like, all right, let's take a pregnancy test. She took a pregnancy test, and she told me. And to be real honest with you, I was like, I wouldn't say I was like shocked, but it was definitely like, oh shit, this is crazy. But there was really nothing inside of me that ever thought about, you know, like, I don't know. It was just like, okay, shit, we're having a kid. You know what I mean? And we just pushed forward. You know what I mean? So yeah, there wasn't any moment of like, oh, this is fucked up or what. You know, it was just like, okay, shit, it is what it is. Let's go. You know?
Nice. Mike Mobs.
Well, me. Let me clear my throat. Nah, but on a real note, I can't remember like say the exact day. Oh, you know, I'm pregnant, but because my situation was different. I mean, I was like what, deuce 24, you know, the big 2-4. So it was more like I wanted to be a dad. I was ready to be a dad. So it was like I knew I didn't need to know a date. You know, I guess.
Hey,
Is that
look? I'm gonna come back in time. I'll be right back.
Yeah. No problem.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, keep it go.
No, I'm saying food, like, you know. Okay, but yeah, so mine was like, you know, premeditated, you could say, because yeah, it was actually food, because it was like I actually even stopped smoking like, you know, 2 months before she was conceived. Dario was already like 2 months clean, you know, because I'm over here like, you know, I didn't want, you know, nothing to come out wrong or her to come out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I stopped, you know, smoking and doing it like, you know, before she was even conceived. So it was like, you know, yeah. So when I found out she was pregnant, it was like, yeah, you know, like, of course, like, hell yeah, of course, you know, ready to be a dad. But yeah.
That's cool.
And what about yourself? Right back at you.
There we go. And that's why it sounded awkward, because fucking. All right. So my story. I actually remember the I think the date that he was conceived. I think actually was 7/7. I think it was like 7. For sure, it was July. I think it was 7 something of the year before. Like he was born in 08, so I guess 07.
Yeah.
And we were just partying. There was like a wedding she was gonna go to or something like that. So of course she looked good. But we were hanging out for something. You know, she came over to Dad's pad. You know, we got to working. So that's how that happened. That's how actually the conception happened. And and freaking, I was hanging out with my friend. I think it was like a Saturday, or I think it was a Sunday. I was hanging out with a friend. We were, you know, freaking, like 20. It was like 24. And the same thing, you know.
Sorry, well, in that case, I'll come back and I'll let you know when she was, because I actually know the date. All right, go ahead.
So this is like at the end of the day, we're hanging out with my friends, you know, freaking, you know, driving around, you know, blazing and all this other shit, you know, the typical shit you do. And then I get like a text message saying, hey, like, you know, we need to talk. And it's all this like back and forth, like, what do you need to talk about? Just tell me over there. No, we have to, you know, be in person. And I was like, dude, like, I'm not going to see you till like Monday or Friday. So I was like, you know, I'm not going to see you for like a week. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, so I told her like, just, I'll just call you right now. And she called me and she's like, you know, she's Russian. She's like, Alan. She's like, I'm late. And I'm like, period? She's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So then we met up later that week, you know, pregnancy test. And it was confirmed. And I was like, oh, shit. Because before that, I was like, man, fuck all that, dude. Like, fuck being a parent. Like, for what? Like, you're busy enjoying life. Like, what do I need responsibility for? Why am I going to drag myself down and shit? But then that happened.
There he goes. I hear him, but I don't see him, boy.
But she was, her thought was she was actually scared to tell me, because she thought that I was going to run off to Arkansas, believe it or not. Like, she thought that like the first moment that she told me, I was going to be like, bing, out, like, fucking, I'm out, you know, fuck this shit. But I was like Kenny, you know, I was kind of like, when it got there, like, really all I could think about was kind of like, the example that had been set by Pops, and I was kind of like, all right, like, fucking like it or not, it's like, all right, that's it, you know, time to be a man now. And that was that.
Yeah.
So was that girl? Was she your girlfriend? Because I missed that part, or was she just like someone you were messing around with? Or
No, she was my girlfriend. We were together for a bit. I think
okay,
we were together for like maybe a year before all this happened.
okay. Did you guys stay together or like kind of piece
Yeah,
back up?
yeah. We said
Okay.
we still together, living together, and all that.
Uh-huh.
To this, yeah, to this miserable day. It's like fucking 15. Actually, like maybe 16 and a half, 17 years later, almost.
Uh-huh. Oh, so you guys are still together?
Yeah, it's a long,
Was
miserable road. Nah.
Long miserable road.
love and marriage.
So is it long and miserable? Just because,
This fool there.
well, just because you haven't like been in other situations, or is it truly like that situation's problematic, or you know
No,
what I
no.
mean?
I just joke around like that. I'm sarcastic.
Okay.
It's like all relationships. You have to work at it. There's ups and there's downs. There's peaks and
Sure.
valleys. But pretty much we're both nurses, so and we talked a lot. Like one of the main things we kind of got together was when we were younger because we both used to work at Gelson's. She was like we were both baggers,
Uh-huh.
and I was like we would talk outside or whatever, and she had plans on kind of like something with nursing or something like that, and I was already almost done with the medical assistant program, so I was just waiting for that to happen. Then I was gonna dip. So as all of those life changes started happening for me around 24, 25, then the kid crept in also. So it was like it was literally hitting that next phase of life.
For sure. That's cool. Yeah, I got my little boy here.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Father's Day, man. It's a lovely thing.
Yep.
The Father's Day topic. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi. See, these are guys that I grew up with. When we were all kids in the streets playing football. And
Hey, Kento.
say hi. Yeah, he's tired, man. He got out of school early today and didn't take a nap at school, so he's falling asleep with a nanny. So in a minute I'm gonna go put him to bed. But yeah, man, it's interesting what you're saying, Alan, because I feel like hold on, damn it, what?
I want
Okay, I'm gonna be done in just a minute and we'll sit. Yeah, but so like my daughter's mom, we were together for a while on and off. I would say from like high school shit all the way up until like '08. And it was like one of those things where like it seems like you have matured within your relationship because like during that relationship it was like all that little bullshit was making it to where I wanted to get the fuck out, along with the fact that I had been with her so long and I really hadn't spread my wings at all. So it was like any fucking argument, I was ready to dip. If this bitch sees she farted, I'm out. Fucking
Yeah, I went through a phase like that too. And yeah, it's real. It's real shit. That's the whole point of like that's what's missing. I feel today with the current batch of adults. With the current gen.
Yeah.
It's like love is not really. I distinctly remember we had a conversation, and I told her like, look, like all I can offer you is like real love.
Right.
And like real love is not like Hollywood shit. Real love is boring. Real love is not like fucking I'm gonna stand outside your house with like a boombox trying to like stalker shit. That like none of that shit is real. It's like that's the shit that they convince you that love is. It's like all I can really offer you is that. Like nothing is promised. We both have
like a little chocolate here and there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're both going in a certain direction. It's like that's all I can really tell you.
Right.
If and that was but yeah, there were a lot of ups and downs during that during the 20s. Early 30s, yeah. Because you do want to dip at the, you're like fuck this.
It seems like you're supposed to. It seems like so much, it's just like you want like an easier path in life. You also are seeing like fucking tits and ass in other places, and but I commend you. What'd you say, Maynard?
I'm a bleep bleep for the.
Oh yeah, sorry, you got to blink that out. But I commend you for sticking through it because even though me and my baby's mom split, and I still currently I don't look at her in like a positive light. Like as an individual, yeah, me and her we didn't work out. But I know that if I was where I am now, mentally mature, we could have worked it out. You know what I mean? Like, but when you're young, you don't really know how to deal. Sometimes you're just like fuck it, and then depending on like I feel like guys sometimes like when that shit happens, like we're the first one to kind of like be over it and want some other shit, and then once they start looking at other dudes and shit, you're like, bitch, come back here. Get
Yeah,
over here.
yeah, dude. Some
Get over Scorpion on him and shit. There's Scorpion on him. Come here.
yeah, without a doubt, I've seen that so many times.
For sure, you know. But I learned like when we split, and she started dating some other dude. It was like we had a mutual split, and then shortly after that, I was like, oh shit, I think I want this to work out. But then she started dating some other dude, and I went like low key crazy. But then like after that, I was like, okay, I was tripping, and then I moved on, and I'm better for it. You know what I mean? And so all you can do is grow. But yeah, relationships are interesting. You know, it's a great thing to be with your child's mother, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Most
no
definitely,
doubt,
yeah.
no doubt.
That's a win. You know, I have another. This kid obviously isn't from. This is from my current wife. You know, we've been together forever. Here, I'll open that for you. You can have one more. We've been together for a long time, but our relationship was more on like the adult tip when we got together. You know, so it just kind of, you find yourself in a better place, even if shit's still a grind. You know, relationships are always going to be a little headache, but the real success is when you kind of push through that shit.
Well, that's the thing. You find that person to grind through it. It's like that, the Bonnie and Clyde thing, right? It's like that's the whole you and your lady against the world situation.
Go watch.
Doesn't always. That shit sounds good though. It sounds really good to say, but that shit don't feel that way most of the time.
Oh no, hell no! You're just trapped in. You're in bondage and shit.
Yeah, in essence. But it's that thing of like, because when I was younger, I was like, marriage is a joke, this and that. And then I realized it's all about like how if you take it seriously, it's worth something. If you don't take it seriously, then of course it's just words.
Right.
Just like anything, man. Life is what you make out of it, man. So you have one kid?
Yeah, only one.
Okay, cool. So as an are you RN or LVN or what?
No, I'm an LVN.
Okay. So like what type of like shifts are you working? Are you on like the 4-day shifts or like 12 hours a day type shit or?
No, I'm actually looking for something like that in a bit. I'm gonna start applying, but at the moment, usually what I do is I do home health, so I go people's homes and I deliver care that way.
Okay. Dope, man. That's great, man. That's great to hear. That's such a great field to be in,
Yeah, surprisingly, like so many things are happening, and today was like a kind of day like that too. I got like a phone call from work. They're like, "Yo, we need you to do us a solid. Can you come see this person?" And it was like, the companies get evaluated by like the government, like DHS.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come through, you have to open the books for everything. They have to see. They just pick the charts and they go, "Okay, let's go see this patient." And you gotta go, and you gotta go. There's no, maybe.
Hold up.
Yeah, it's like no.
Hey, hurry up and go do the thing. Go get that guy out of there. Hurry up.
Hey, he went to the stove.
Some people do try to do that. Some people do try to do that, though, believe it or not. That's what kind of what happened. So they're like, "Hey, can you go see this patient?" And they're gonna send a surveyor with you. I was like, "Yeah, cool, no problem." So I just went to go do it, and that was it. And it was good. The person actually gave me some info to like take like the next step in a career, something I actually liked. And so she put me up on some some resources. I was like, yeah, thank you very much. I'm gonna go look that up. So it's a great day.
Yeah, man. That's like a life lesson, right? You gotta like be open to shit, because when you're closed off, you're missing opportunities, you're missing blessings, and
Yeah, you have to. I've learned in this field from like other people who are really good. You can say mentors. Like you have to embrace. Like the military says, you have to embrace the suck. You have to go into that thing you don't want to do. And a lot of people, they get so nervous, they don't want to do that surveyor thing.
You gotta get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, pretty much. Because the company always asks you, like, hey, who wants to volunteer? Who has visits for this? And no one ever says yeah. So they start picking random. And that's when everyone gets like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Right?
But my thing is like, it's not complicated. Just fucking like do it the right way regularly. Then when they come to, you don't trip. Right? Like, imagine you were taking shortcuts in your job, right? Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, someone's going to oversee what I'm doing?
Oh, yeah, I know, exactly. It'll give you that anxiety of being watched. Hey, this was not going to let me really rock too much longer, but one last question. Hey, Alan, you said, I think when we were on Instagram texting, you're in Hollywood, or where you at?
Yeah, I live right here off of Fairfax.
Okay, shit. I'm down in South LA, bro. I'm like off of Crenshaw and Vernon.
Yeah, I'm familiar. I have a friend who lives around there. Is that by the recent metro tracks that they opened?
Yep, exactly. Like literally walking distance. It runs right up the main, right up Crenshaw, right by my crib.
You know what? No, No, they didn't sell the house. Yeah, yeah. I'm familiar with the area. Like I said, I had a homie that used to live out there, right on pretty much Crenshaw. I think it was like Crenshaw on 5th or Crenshaw on 7th.
Okay.
There's like there was like a Ralph's.
Uh-huh.
So like then you just like the first right. There's like a little motor mechanic shop. There's like a little store right there.
Yeah, that Ralph's that you're talking about, I used to live like that's around the corner from where I'm at. They actually closed that shit down, unfortunately. But I used to work there, or I used to live right by that, like over on 10th Avenue, and it's like 10th. What is it? Which way does it go? It goes 10th. Yeah, 10th, 9th. Yeah, it goes towards the 110 freeway or whatever down. So your homie must have been real close right there. But
yeah.
All right, yeah, this boy's not gonna let me chill for much longer. But hey, look, he'll probably go to sleep in a little while. I'll shoot you guys an Instagram if you guys are still free. I'll chop back up with you.
Cool, no problem.
Yeah.
All right, man. Hey, but we got to do this shit more often, man, because I'm trying to get back in the mix. I've been doing podcast stuff, but the shit I've been doing more lately is like the content related to my industry. But I also like this shit too. This is just a good time, and I think we could assist each other in growing little followings.
Both way. I've been watching your content. What's up with Jimmy? What's up with that first podcast was really good because all the stuff you guys were talking about. I was like, I can fuck with this. Like I knew all of the stuff you guys were talking about, so I was like, all right, let's hear the point of views.
Dude, what happened was that first podcast was set up in my office in downtown LA, and then like my lease came up at the end of January, so it was like I moved everything over here. So what'd you say?
The one that you guys are moving out of, where Jimmy was working with you?
Yeah, exactly, that one. Yeah, so the lease ended in January, and it was just like our industry.
Shoot me that link for it.
The link. Oh yeah, I'll shoot it to you. Okay. Yeah, I'll shoot it to you. But yeah, like it was like our industry's slow right now, so like me paying that extra, like I was like spending like $3,000 a month on that rent. It was like $2,400 for the space. Kenzo, you're gonna fall, and then like $400 a month in parking, and then like another fucking $30 a day if you're trying to eat lunch and shit. So I was like, you know what? I'll renew a lease later on. But I do have space here at the crib to set up a little podcast and shit. I've been working on that shit. So yeah, man, I'd like to, have either pop up on you or have you come by and we could fucking dive into those topics too, because that's really the big goal. I want to grow the following for like my mortgage shit, but like on the creative fun side, it's like hip hop, politics, fucking, current events, all that shit's good times,
Exactly.
From everywhere.
So we're on the same lane, same idea. Yeah, that's dope.
All right, let's do it then, man. Hey, well, I'll tap back in with you guys tonight, and if we can get back on, we'll do it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, good seeing you guys, man.
Peace
Later,
out.
brother.
All right. Yeah, brother. Much love.
That was dope. Kenny came through.
Yep.
All right, so we got some future content coming for you guys. He sells houses, flips houses. I think said he was a loan officer.
Yes, sir. He does loans.
All right, so
soon to be in that game too. He's been telling me about that. That's why I got the computer at home too. But I was looking into remember that's how we got into the subject last time, stepping off the Father's Day subject, but the crypto, remember?
Yeah.
Telling you, but the computer that I gotta get a. This is what? This is just the basic. I need to get a better one, or like i5 at least,
Yeah, because of the processing, yeah.
Yeah.
So
but yeah.
The first transition, I have a few, only like 2 or 3 clips to show you guys that are like kind of Father's Day related. So here we go with the first one.
No. Good.
You see it?
Go ahead, go up. No, I zoomed in.
No.
The hell?
Help.
Good.
That's crazy. How did that help?
That kid's eyes were like, oh shit, it just got real.
Oh, I see what he did. He showed him like, if you don't eat it, he's gonna fucking.
Yeah, that's fucking.
Oh, I didn't get it. My bad.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Yeah, that's funny.
So
It's like, have you seen that guy that does them things with the dog with that Doberman pincher?
yeah, they did the exact same thing. Yeah, they did the exact
That
same thing.
like a cake, like of a dog. He gets his head cut off, and then he gets a knife and looks at the dog, and the dog just like books it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
So the next question would be, how is the discipline aspect for you of being a father?
Well, the discipline part, it's a little bit, difficult with these nowadays. You
Oh,
got to
for
be
sure,
more,
for sure.
you got to be more open-minded, obviously, because nowadays, times are not the same as when we were growing up. Just like it's not the same as when our parents were growing up. So it's a little bit rough because it's like now with the technology as well, it's kind of like you gotta try to keep up with them, and then like they be up on that technology. They grew up. If we were learning on computers, they already grew up with computers. You know what I mean? So it's like we got to be very open minded and careful as well. You know. So with the discipline part and disciplining, sometimes nowadays I think if you know your child, you should be able to talk to them, instead of like, well, like come here. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Once in a while, they do deserve little,
Mano dura, as they
smack.
say.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So for me, here's the truth, America. For me, it was really difficult at first, actually, because I thought that life was a certain way, and I saw myself a certain way. But I mean, I was also unhappy about personal things in myself. But again, it's like because I was just young, chilling,
Right.
you get attention from girls and shit. I thought it was all good, right? So it was just like things that you'd like just throw in the back of your mind. You never have to address. But for me, I'm not gonna lie, like those first few years, maybe like the first 5 or 6 years, dude, I used to fucking yell a lot. I was yelling a lot, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, it was because of the way that I was raised. I mean, part of it was that, because then I started realizing like there was like a moment where I caught myself and I looked at like my kid's face because he looks like me, and I never forget
Yeah.
this. I looked at his face and it was like seeing myself, but like seeing myself when I was a kid, and my mom was
Yeah.
doing the same thing. So it was that whole fucking you're
That
continuing
flash
you're continuing the cycle. It was that whole fucking it hit me like so hard for the first time.
at yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that shit was like it was it was
Bro,
it was so
if you
many
only,
things. It was
yeah, if you only,
horrifying. It was scary. It was sad. I was angry. I was fucking hated myself. I fucking hated my mom in that moment. It was like a lot of shit, dude. Like that moment like really fucked me up. It fucked me up a lot.
all right.
So then
Hey,
yeah, but that was also like it's not like I was aware of like, but put it this way, like I like when those things started to happen, I realized like when he was like maybe like 4 or 5, that's when I started realizing that I had like anger issues and shit. But it was like anger issues that I never knew existed. So started,
well,
huh?
well, you know me, I always had anger issues, so it's like, fuck, I don't know, like learning to change that and deal with it, or not deal with it, but yeah, just learning how to change that. It's like a whole process in itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I mean. Like that whole, all. But for me, it was like okay, like I was able to identify it, because it was like, I was like okay, like this is fucking. It was this thing of like, fuck, I can't. It's like because you see it so often. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like it's something you see so often, how people react that way that you think is normal. But then
you
it's like,
see it like on default.
yeah, exactly. Because basically, like when your kids are growing up, like they emulate what they see, and that's what we saw growing up a lot.
Yeah,
But pretty much from everywhere. That's when I started realizing, thinking back to like a lot of these things, and I was kind of like,
that
holy shit.
yeah, that's what me and Migs were talking about. How um we all have, and our kids are all gonna have some characteristic of us,
Yeah,
because only natural. It's their our blood is their blood, flesh of my flesh, flesh. You know what I mean? Basically, that's what it is. So it's just like we unconsciously, do things that our parents did to us, and then sometimes even worse. Back not now. I'm saying but before you could say, you know, it's like you wouldn't even know you were doing it. It was just like something that you just reacted. It wasn't even like something you thought about. It was just like, okay, boom, let's go.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's what we saw. That's what growing up,
yeah. Is
and
that?
that's what play where when you learn that we're able to change that and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's that's when you know that you've changed, I guess, or I don't know.
yeah. I would say like you have to do something. Well, I'd say that's just kind of advice for any situation in life. Like you really have to identify the problem, catch yourself, and do something. That's why like luckily like pops taught us about like they would call it mental health now. Before it was just called knowledge of self,
Yeah.
which is pretty much to catch yourself doing things. So yeah, so that was like it was mainly yelling, and the kid would cry a lot, but his cries were like so fucking, they were so loud they would freak everybody else out. So like the cops came a few times, and they would come in, and they would trip out. Yeah, they would trip out because like whatever people were reporting was not actually what was happening, right? It was like a kid crying, right? It's like I would yell, he would cry, and it would be
They were reporting over here like some the Jeffrey bombers.
yeah. They were reporting like super intense shit, and then the cops would come, and
They're like,
no, they would show up like fucking really really fucking aggressive, like they were ready to take somebody down.
there's a child involved, but I'm saying like at the end of the day, like they're like, what? Like
Yeah.
not que ver,
Cause then his mom would come out and she'd be like, no, like nothing is happening. They would like search her, they're like examine her, they would examine the kid, like there's like no bruises or anything, there's like no signs of struggle, nothing and shit.
Let me see.
Yeah, all that shit. And I was like, yeah, go ahead and check, officer. I was just sitting there. I was fucking pissed. I was sitting there, but I was like angry at myself and shit. Like, look at the fucking, like look at how out of control you get, and like look at all the shit it turns into, right? Like you caused this shit.
Yeah.
And then never like the cops were like, okay, like you have to do something about his crying. They're like, because it's like we're gonna keep coming out here, and like you guys, like nothing is going on. It's like, so just basically you have to do something about his crying. Like we don't want to keep coming out here. Basically they're like, we don't want to come out here for nothing, bro. Like we were coming out here to get some action. There's no action here, so we're just wasting our time. So
we
like,
could have been shooting some fools over there, man. Come on now.
pretty much like Hollywood sheriffs and shit, So like
we could have been on a 180. We could have been on a possible 187. Come on now.
yeah, and like no lie, like two times they came over, and that was what they told me. They're like, you got to do something.
I'm not playing. I mean, I live in TJ, my boy. I already know. But like you got me wasting my time here. Give me your money. Give me that money, man. Give me my time. So that's how.
Then there was a period. Check this out, because our apartment is right underneath the parking lot, and you can hear everything that we say. And if you're in the parking lot, we hear everything that you say. People who are down there. So for a while, they would just randomly park their cruiser underneath our window to see if anything happened. And I would just catch them from time to time, because I would get home and I would see them there, and I was like, holy shit. But this is like months later, like a year later, a year and a half later, they were still parking their car like underneath our window to see what was going on.
Like constantly? Like they went through
no, not every yeah, like sporadically, on and off. No, it wasn't every day, but it was like, I would come through certain times and I would catch them and shit.
Every other month?
I caught him like 3 times, but it was like 3 times within like a year and a half space. I was like, what the fuck? Because I was like, okay, I understood the first time.
They're probably just doing follow-ups that came on the vid report. Oh, look, this one. Let's go see if there's any action happening.
No, yeah, that's what I think. I think it was follow-ups and shit or whatever. But I remember the first time there was like a female officer who thought she looked like Rachel Maddow. She was basically like a lesbian fucking officer Rachel Maddow.
Rachel Ray. That's right.
She was just annoying. She was like totally fucking, I don't know. She was just like
yeah.
She was just an annoying feminist. I don't know. All right, so moving on. Next question. What would you say is the best thing about being a father?
The best thing, just
Because I'm not gonna be like, I know it's all great. It's like,
just
yeah,
nah. Honestly, just spending that quality time. Just that time that that you're gonna just making memories. Like me especially, like with my situation and everything. And when Lily was down here, when she started school out here, I would have changed that for the world, and it was lovely. You know, like one time in particular, I could tell you this. We were in my car. I ran out of gas. It was the old school, the Regal, the old school. So I was in that one, and like literally halfway across town, bro. Like literally, like way out there. Like and so we ran out of gas, right? And I had my skateboard and her skateboard in the trunk. Coincidentally, I had, big old trunk. I have all kinds of stuff in there, and I have the skateboards in there. So I'm like, dang, what am I gonna do? I had no money, literally. I had to go get money. And then I was like, you know what? Let's turn this, what do you call it? This mishap or this bad situation, and turn it into a good and into adventure. So we get the skateboards and we hop on the skateboards, and we literally like rode from like example, um, from where I used to live at, right there normally in Hathaway. You know what I'm talking about, right? By
yeah.
Griffith Park, right there, all the way, say to, damn. Let me see.
Took a long ass mission.
No, to not. I'm trying to give an example to where you guys used to live at by Sears,
Yeah, St. Andrews, Western, pretty much.
but like 5 times, like it was a mission. It was like a cool thing. It was like a cool 2 3 hour skateboard drive. 2 hour probably out in the sun, and we're just on a little mission, like riding skateboards. So yeah, that was one. That's something that we're always gonna remember.
How old was she?
That she was like what, maybe 5 6. She was young, like 6, probably like 6. So she's been riding skateboards she was little. So yeah, like 6, and then we had the miss, like the bad one, when we fell off this bike. Like we literally like flipped, bro. Now, like when I messed up my clavicula, and she busted her lip, and like so we had good times and bad times, but they were all memories.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the crazy part about that one was traumatic for her, to the point where whenever we would go by there, I would tell the people, look, this is where it happened. She would like freak out. She'd be like, no, no, dad, no, 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 like please, no, no, like like literally, like. And I was like, oh, when I saw that, I was like, oh hell no, like I gotta, like this really like affected her, like like I really gotta get her to the point where she can overcome this. So that's where it comes into play, where it's like, like boom, like, it's when that part really steps in, if you really care about your child, are you just going to let them be all traumatic and traumatized and not let, be weak in life, or, you're going to show them how to be strong and like, get over it, not get over it, but like, help them understand it. You know what I'm saying? You could say,
How to get
so it
through
won't
it.
sound tough. So yeah, so like don't get me. So it took me a while. Like at first, I would show mom like, look, I was trying to go over there, and she would freak out to the point where I couldn't even go. I would like have to like literally like detour. And then one time I was talking to her, and I was like, baby, look, like this is something that I know we went through, and I know it's trauma, and I know it was rough, but you gotta understand that not every time that we go down this hill, the outcome is gonna be the same. The outcome's gonna be different. It was just at that time, it was that happened. So yeah, so I was like, and I told her, at one point we're gonna either walk down here or drive down here. So yeah, so I think what was it? I think one day she pulled the courage and we walked down it. I believe we walked down it. So we walked, and if you look at it, bro, you'd be like, "Ew!" It's like literally like a drop, bro. Like like it's not even like this. It's just like straight, like. And since it was our daily route, like we would always go through there, going home. At some point on the other one, she would even go like, wee, So that time just caught me off guard. Actually, what happened was the spoke, lost, it was aluminum, too much weight. And then there's this little like point where it like, like dips, not a dip, but like the pressure,
Yeah.
where, so like just when the tire hit right there, the spoke gave, the spoke broke, not broke, but it just bent.
Yeah.
So when that spoke bent, whoop, it bent the whole rim. So literally, bro, I'm like this. I got Lily in between my legs, and I'm holding her like this, and I'm like, boom, that thing just dropped, like, boom, just dropped, bro. And I'm thinking, Dios mío, no puedo creer que eso esté pasando. I'm talking Spanish. So I'm like Superman, bro. I'm like literally like flying, bro. I don't know how I would like kick, like I threw Lily on the side. She still got hurt, but did not get hurt as bad, And I'm over here flying, and the first thing that I remember is like just tuck, So I tuck and I went like that, and like boom, nomás pujé like, huh. Because my first thing is I jump, I literally, bro, like nomás pegué el pujazo, and that's right there is like father 101 kicking in, bro. Like boom, like I just like boom, nomás pujé, huh. And the first thing is like Lily, my daughter, like. So I start looking around, like, where's Lily? And she's like from right here to the door, and she's like screaming, grabbing her like leg down. I'm like, damn. Solo falta que se haya quebrado, her leg or something got in between the spoke, and like, I was thinking the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the story. So yeah, so we had our good ones, bad ones, but they're all memories, and we're making some, and she should be touching down here in July. Matter of fact, coming to a theater near you. LAX maybe, or I don't know if Ontario or LAX. Anonymous at this moment. She's gonna be touching down early July,
Cool.
before the 4th. Wink, wink. Hint, hint.
Cool.
On July before the 4th, so in between those days she'll be here. Nah, but she's gonna be here on the 3rd, and touching down to Cali in the 3rd, not here in Mexico. Here in Mexico, I don't know if she's gonna. Here in TJ, I don't know if she's gonna show up yet or when, because of the whole thing with grandma. But yeah.
No,
So yeah, it's another.
That's cool.
Yeah, so she'll be here. I'm sure I'll see her for at least Yeah, I'll see her. But yeah.
Yeah, same thing for me. It's the um it's the yeah, definitely the time you spend with your kid, which it's a bit, I guess, it's a bit different because she's a girl, but for me it's like
Yeah.
you develop a best friend. I can honestly say that. And for me, yeah, it was the same thing. It's like you hang. This is one thing that people do that I think is weird. They hang out with their kids, right? But they try to make their kids like a mini version of them.
Oh yeah.
So I definitely wanted that at first because that's what I thought kind of like parenting was. But I would like expose him to certain like TV shows, certain things, and he was like, I don't care. I don't fuck with this at all. This doesn't grab my attention at all. So then I was kind of like, okay. So then it's like the whole thing of like, what do you want to see? What do you want to watch? And then they start telling you, oh, well, I want to watch this. And then you start to see their personality develop and stuff, the things that they like, things that they don't like.
That part.
So that, and then also like, well, for me, like, I like art a lot and stuff like that. So you like music a lot to like be able to pass on those, the passion for those things, the love for those things. That's a really great thing because, like, to be honest, like the way we talk about certain things, like it's pretty deep. Like, it can't really, like, I could talk probably like to you like that, to Migs like that, to my dad like that, to my mom. But there's not many people I could talk like on that level. It's only like a handful of people, and then like he's one of them now. He's 15.
Yeah.
But
yeah, then that's good. That's why like with me, with Lily, it's kind of a little bit harder because now she's been with her mom for a little bit now, and so on that part, it does suck because it's not like a 24/7, communication.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try, I do the best that I can with the situation that, I'm in at the moment. And yeah, so, right now she's actually, she took the basketball camp on the summer.
Yeah.
So she's doing the basketball and yeah. So I do keep up with that. And that's funny because when she was living with me, I wasn't even like trying to raise her like me, you know. I was like doing the opposite. I would like dress her like girly, like pink and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, for real. Like you see my pictures of, you know, on my page, and they're like, you know, she's all in pink and everything, you know, ever since she was little, you know, since I had her 3 months.
Yeah, she
So I
turned
had her.
into a tomboy.
It was, huh?
She turned into a tomboy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Is you know, so it's crazy because, yeah, that part. So, but she'd be like, you know, listening to Ice Cube, and like one time when she came last time, she said, "Hey, you know, let's reminisce," and she put on a song, and I was like, "What?" So when she was over here with me, you know, I was in a Regal. You know what song? Mac 10, Full for Life.
Damn, that dude, that would trip me the fuck. That would trip me
You
the
know
fuck
why?
out. Hey,
Go
let's
ahead. What?
reminisce.
Yeah, she's like, and then she, because we were, but you know, I had my Regal back then, you know, when she was living with me. So we were literally cruising the Regal, and I was bumping, you know, Mac 10 for Life. So then, you know, and
For
I was singing, and
life, for
she could
life.
sing it too, because of that, and that one verse in particular where he sees, and please let me go, cause I, you know, cause I gotta feed, and I forgot, but
No,
he's like, let me
gotta ask
go,
the
cause I've
PO.
gotta feed my baby girl,
Yeah,
and
gotta
so that
show how
part,
to ask
so
the
she knows
PO.
that
Can I
one
go?
for like she knows that one for like off the bat, cause Your Honor, please let me go, cause I gotta do a show, and I gotta go, and I gotta make some dough, because I gotta feed this and that, and feed my baby girl. But yeah, so that part. So yeah, you know. So the last time I caught her with like a Boys in the Hood sweater, I think, or shirt that she bought off of Migs, I was like, "Where'd you get that at?" So yeah, you know, like Tupac. Like last time she came, she took my Tupac shirt. It had like the verse. It was actually one that I never had seen, bro. I forgot what's I forgot if it was Dear Mama, which you have never seen a, you know, a picture of him with the verse. Well, yeah, so I forgot what song it was, but she still has it. So yeah, and her mom's like, yeah, Tiffany, she wears it all the time. She's like, I hate it, cause it's, you know, that BM, you know, I guess
Yeah,
it reminds you when they see this. She's like, yeah, cause like she gave me a hat. She bought her White Sox hat, and she put her name on the side, like Lluvia,
yeah.
but like, you know, like cursive, like gangster cursive, I guess, politically, like, you know, what they call gangster cursive, but it's just like cursive writing, Lluvia. And her mom's like told her that it was ghetto. Like, how is that ghetto? Like, what do you mean? But yeah, so those are little, you know,
Nice.
in the category of disciplinary.
All right.
But
So
yeah,
next question. So in this crazy world that we live in, what would you say is like the scariest part, or the part that you worry the most about?
about what, like the future for them, or what do you mean?
Yeah, that now, because they're not adults yet, but yeah, now the thing that you worry about the most, and then also for the future for them, because you're getting they we both are actually, because they're pretty much the same age. We're getting to that point where it's like, all right, there you go, you're 18, you know, fucking go and make your mistakes and shit.
Yeah.
Go and tell me what it was, you know.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, say, wait, repeat that.
In this current world, right now, because they're not 18 yet, but they're about to be. What's the thing that you're worried about now, like a fear, and then for the future, because then there's no more, like, you're gonna get that point of like, that's it, like
Yeah,
whatever job you did raising them, that's it, time's up, that's the buzzer. This is the adult you created now.
yeah, that part. Basically, you know, that they you know, stay focused and stay, you know, mind strong, and you know, not make the same mistakes that we made, obviously, or that I made, and staying focused, you know, keep pushing, and stay, most of all, stay mind strong. Most of all, mind strong, because if you ain't mind strong nowadays, the way the rate, you know, the way society is, the way just everything, you got to stay mind strong. And you know, that mind strong, and just let them know that, you know, staying that education is your most important. You know, that knowledge is power. You know, just don't be blinded. Just be aware to your surroundings, be on point, and stay focused and stay strong, so you can get to your goals. Because actually, as Lily, as my, like, what are your plans? And she was like, I'm aiming for my bachelor's, this and that. So I'm like, oh wow. So that kind of caught me off guard, not off guard because I told her that she's gonna go to, that she's gonna go to college, because remember, we gotta push them, we gotta put that in their mind already, because it wasn't done with us, so we gotta do it the opposite, the way we would have liked it, so I'm like, kicking it to her head, like put it in her head already, this is like this and like that, and then going back. That's why I made that decision of sending her back with her, sending her to the States, to get that education, you know. And I think her, starting school out here helped her a lot because the way, and she was in a private school out here too. So that, it's like not just any kid goes to a private school out here, you can say. Not to, there is a lot of kids in private schools, but,
Nah, flex, bro. If you have to bust your ass for them to go to private school, fucking, it is what it is. And shit, fucking.
yeah, I mean, she went to a private bilingual school, out here, and normally, you just go to a public school, it's not bilingual. So, she went to a private bilingual school. So therefore there's way more discipline and there's more attention to the child because there's literally, her classroom was literally a classroom of only like 12 compared to as of a public school, it was like 31 some, you know what I mean? So the attention obviously was not going to be the same. It's like, okay, here you go, boom, to everybody. As of like, oh, I have like these 12 like individuals, you know what I mean? I can work with you right now, and as of like, yeah. So that part helped a lot, I think, because at 4 years old, she was already reading. I don't know what the average age is for kids to read or write their name, but at 4 years old, she was already bilingual in reading and writing her name. So I don't know.
I think that's normal. Do you have any stories of when she got in trouble where they had to like call it to you, like bring it to your attention, and you had to be like, duh, like it's like fucking, oh, now I know what it's like when you used to fucking call my mom about me and shit.
Yeah. Do I remember or what you said?
No, like now you know what it's like when fucking your mom, they would call your mom about you.
Oh yeah, of course. Now I know why. Now we both know why they say, "Ya vas a ver cuando seas grande, cuando seas hijos." That part. Yeah, totally. Like when she did her first, like tried her first vape. Like I'm like, what? Like really? Like what? Like yeah, all that. First, yeah, yeah, that part. And more to come, because in my case it's gonna be different, because when I'm back and when me and her are, back together, you could say, in the way that we're in the same, country, I think I know that me and her are gonna like try to, pick up where we left off at. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're not gonna be able to like, oh, like like aquí ve, mami, but in the way that we're gonna be like, okay, we're you're older, I'm older, but we left off at this point, and let's like let's go, let's do this, it's me and you, let's go, it's grind time, I got your back, you got my back, just
Cool. So
Wait.
My story of this is, if you believe it, this kid was freaking kindergarten. Actually, he had just started kindergarten. He was I think he was in kindergarten here for maybe 6 months at the most. So in those 6 months, this is the worst thing. I don't know why. I don't know if the kid was a jerk or what. I mean, maybe he was. I don't know. Because a lot of the kids were like European. All right. And there was this kid, and I think the kid was sick or something, or he didn't just have a surgery, but he had some type of surgery at some point.
Yeah.
And this kid decides to like push him, or like basically like, you know, quote unquote bully him, yeah. And then when they call us and shit, and I was kind of like, and his mom is the one that tells me, oh fuck, you know, your son is doing this, your son is doing that. And then I found out, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck did all this happen and shit? So then they're telling us, right, whatever that happened, it was nothing major, but it was, I mean, it could turn into something major, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And we start, you know, doing the whole parenting thing. And in this lasted for like a week. And then they tell us that there were some other kids in his class. So he clicks up with the other kids in his class, because they basically told him, like, you cannot touch this kid, you cannot go around this kid, like, you know, we're gonna separate you guys. And I don't know why, I don't know where the idea came from, because the other kids had like beef with other kids too. So the kids got in trouble, and I guess they told them the same thing, like, you can't be around these kids. So they made a deal where they said, okay, you go, huh?
This is a kindergarten?
Yeah, this is kindergarten.
Mind you not. The fuck? They have their own little gang already? What the?
Yeah, so it's like, I think it was like him and like 2 or 3 other kids. So they click up, and they're like, okay, you are gonna go beat up the kids that we can't do anything to, and we're gonna go beat up the kid that you can't do anything to. And then they called us in, and I was like, what the fuck? I was losing my shit. I was like, what the fuck is this? Can you listen to that shit? In kindergarten. You believe that shit? Yeah.
Well, so, I can believe it, because I mean, at 12 years old, well, you know, what were we doing? 11. Well, what was I doing? 10.
Yeah, but he was dad, but they were like fucking 5, 6 and shit.
Yeah. So that's saying, like, remember, times have changed. So if we were doing it at 10, that means they're gonna do it at a younger age, and so forth.
So we go to the school, and this is the craziest thing. So they're talking to us, and I go, yeah, okay, what are you guys gonna do about it? Right, like we're doing our part at home, but like, you know, what are you guys gonna do here? And the principal looks at me dead in the eyes, and he's like, well, we believe in a what's the thing? Oh, we have a strict only positive reinforcement policy here in the school. Actually, and then like actually the whole LAUSD has a strict only positive reinforcement.
Oh, okay.
So when he did it, I think like the second time, because I think it was like 3 days straight. So when he did it like the second time, they didn't do anything to him. They told him, oh, you know, like, oh, like, you're grumpy, like, we know you, it was, you know, it was a hard day or whatever, like, oh no, like, it's okay, just, you know, like, we're gonna separate you, don't do that again, you don't know, no, you can't do that again. And I was just sitting there like, are you serious? Like, you guys are gonna do nothing. And the principal was like, he was just talking, and I told him, and I was like, you know, like, other schools or in a private school, I told them, like, they'll make him stand if he doesn't listen. Right, like they'll make him stand until he quiets down, because that's like, you know, kids, you know, want attention type of thing, so you gotta check them. Yeah. And they were like, no, we don't do that here. Like, no, we don't do that. I was like, that's what they did. I was like, I was in school not that long ago, dude. Like, that's what they were doing to us. You can't make him stand. You can't make him write, you know, fucking like Bart Simpson and shit. Right? I will keep my hands to myself and shit.
Yeah, for real. I will not. They used to do that shit to us 100 times.
Yeah, so
my mom.
Yeah, but that's what yeah, my mom too. They always fucking write demerits and shit, and I was just blown away. I was like,
you know what I used to do? I used to put I
yeah, exactly, one word at a time and shit. Yeah, exactly. So you fucking just breeze through it and shit. So, and I was just like, so nothing. They're like, no, like, we don't. It's pure. And there's another day that I went, and he was in the principal's office all day long playing on his Mac, and he was actually playing, like, you know, little computer games on his Mac, and I was just sitting there like, I was like, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, this is some shit I've never seen before. And the dude was just like super, like a wet noodle, like, you know, he looked like a hipster. No, not like a hipster. He looked like a hippie that turned into a principal.
Who? Oh shit.
The principal. That's what he looked like.
He's just, go ahead and let him do it.
Yeah. But trying to be professional.
Okay, more for me. Let me go. Okay, go ahead, son. Yeah, we had in Gary, there was actually a teacher like that, bro. No lie, true story. I witnessed it myself. I did not have him. Everybody wanted him, and whoever had him was like, oh, I got that. It was like that, yeah. I think he was a math or English teacher. Literally, bro, he would go in there and just like fall asleep, bro. This fool would literally just fall asleep in the class and would just let the class do whatever the fuck they wanted. Literally. Fools were in the back, bro. Literally in the back of the classroom smoking weed, bro. Like what? This is not even LA Unified School District. This is like in Pomona, fool. Like way out there still. Like, right almost to Chino,
Yeah.
Like that. Well, it's still ghetto, but I mean, come on. Like, really? Like, this ain't fucking that movie stand and deliver fucking shit. What the fuck?
Exactly.
Class,
Exactly.
the fucking falling asleep. That's some South Central LA.
Fucking in the era of Dangerous Minds and shit, right? Fucking this ain't that.
This was for real. They ain't lying. I just remember that shit. Like, as soon as he would start class, I don't even remember he would even present himself. He was like, "Okay, everybody, okay,
Do whatever
like
you want.
that." There's like fool, like just like. So yeah, I could picture somebody just doing that.
So almost done. So this video here will transition us to the next topic. Let me find it. All right. So check out this, and you can tell us your version of this or whatever your story is for this. You get it?
Okay, so what, he fell asleep?
He passed out while she was giving labor.
But why'd they show the bed? They had to put him in the
Yeah, because he was fucking. They had to put him in the tuck and shit. They had to take care of him.
Fucking couldn't hang.
Yeah. So, what is your story of when your kid came into this world? Take us back. Hold on.
I remember that day.
There, take us back.
And it's funny because you know what? The first thing I said is funny because I remember I was like, "That's an ugly little baby."
No doubt, they're fucking ugly as shit.
No lie, but if you look at Lily now, she's like a beautiful like lily, like a flower. Like I was like, what? But like at first, she was kind of like morenita, I think. Like I remember like morenita and like and I'm like. I don't remember if I said it out loud, but I think I told Tiffany. I definitely told her mom. But yeah, like that was my first. But yeah, I mean, definitely it was a beautiful moment. Because I even remember, since her mom's like, Native Indian, part Native Indian, her kids are like, Sky, her first one's Sky, Lily, second, Scarlet, Flowers, basically all of them. And then Lily. So yeah, so it's Lily and Rain. They all have like flower and then something like that. Jasmine, Sky. Flower and then the sky. Lily and then water. So Lily and Rain. So it's crazy because we already came up with the name Rain. Her middle name, and then the day that she was born, it was raining. So
nice.
Exactly. That's crazy. That was even more crazier, I think. Like what? Like Lily and Rain, and it's raining. She was born September 24th. So yeah.
But how, like, was there any story getting there? Was it like was it like the movies and shit, or just we got there, that was it?
Honestly, I don't even remember, bro. I remember just her mom wanting to go into labor. And she's like, I think she was like passed and she was supposed to be done, like come out already. And she wouldn't go into labor. And BM's like, you know what you got to do? I was like, what? Like, how they start looking into back then, I don't know what the hell she looked into or how she found out. But that they're like, if you do this, you can like put me into labor faster, you know, and you already know what time it is, like intercourse, you know. So basically, she's like, yeah, come on, let's go, you know, so let's do this so you can get me into labor. And literally, that's what I had to do. I had to get down and dirty. I had to sacrifice myself. I did, for literally, like, so I had to
Hold on,
go
hold
in
on.
there.
You deserve one of these. You're a brave guy.
I didn't, I didn't hear it, but yeah.
Trust me, you're gonna love it on the playback.
So yeah, so I literally, yeah, so I literally had to, you know, have intercourse with her to have the baby come out, to send her into labor. So yeah, now that you mention it, that's how it was. She wasn't able to, yeah, so yes, there you go. You refresh my memory. Okay, so that's what it was. So she couldn't go into labor. So baby mama's like, hey, you gotta fuck, we gotta fuck. I was like, what? What you mean? She's like, yeah, I read that, you know, that if we fuck, you know, it helps me go into labor. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yes, I'm dead fucking serious. I'm tired of fucking carrying this baby. Like, like I'm wanting to go to labor, you know, not like that, but like, you know, it's just like I want to go into labor. I'm supposed to go into labor already, and you know, this is the best way that naturally that you can go into labor.
That's true.
So
that's actually true.
So yeah, well, yeah. So you know, so that's how I did it. That's how we did it. So we did that, and I think well, I don't know if it's immediately or a little bit after, you know, we went to the hospital. So yeah. And then it was raining. And her middle name is Rain. So that's the story of the day she came into this world.
Cool.
I had to literally bring her out of come out here. Get out here.
So my story.
Come on to the world.
Yeah.
to the other side. Break on through to the other side, right?
No doubt, yeah.
Literally.
My version of this story, I think it was like 11:30, and I was like doing something. I think I was fucking around with like my phone, trying to put like a different software on it. And I think I was like gonna go to sleep, and it was like midnight. And she gets up and she comes out, actually in this very apartment we're at right now, and she's like, "Alan?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I think my water broke." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What do you mean you think?" Oh, hold on. Wrong one. Hold on. There we go.
Hey, out there, buddy.
She's like, "Alan, I think my water broke." What? What do you mean you think your water broke? It either did or it didn't. She's like, "I don't know. This is the first, this is the first time. I don't know. I think it broke." I'm like, "Well, how do you know?" She's like, "It feels like I peed on myself." I'm like, "Well, did you pee on yourself? Did you pee on yourself normally?" She's like, "No, but it's only." She's like, "No, but it's only a little bit, and it was involuntary." But she's like, "But it was only a little bit." She's like, "It's not like." She's like, like it's supposed to be a lot, like in the movies and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit." So I was like, "Okay, well, freaking like I was like, just
Did
change." Huh?
Did her water break?
Yeah, this is the story. So I told her.
Oh wow.
So I told her, okay, so just change. And she goes into the shower. She's like, wait, in case it is, because of course, everyone's gonna be looking at the vajayjay. She's like, hold on, you have to make sure it looks proper for to put it on display for everybody to see. so she. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's women, right? So she goes, she does her thing. It took her like 30 minutes. Then we go, and we have the car seats. The fucking. I was like, oh, fucking, I'll install that shit later. We don't need the fucking car seat right now. So we go to we go to Cedars, and they take her in, and it was trippy because the nurses are looking at her, and as soon as they got there, did the whole, they put the finger in the vajayjay to see if they dilated. So they're like certain dilation. I think she was still like at fuck. It was like she had a long way to go. I think it had to dilate like 10 inches or some shit. So she had a long way to go. And I just remember the nurse is like, you don't look ready. And she's like, I don't know. I think it is. She's like, oh, you don't look ready. But then they did like a swab test. And so basically they confirmed that like, yeah, the water did break. So I was like, great. We can move on to the next day. And she's like, no. She goes, just because the water broke, she goes, she can spend like the next 2 days like this. Doesn't mean she's gonna have the baby now. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, it's just prepping for birth. It's just the beginning cycle of it. And I was like, oh, okay. But they gave her some medication that speeds up the process. That induces it even more. So they gave her that, and then they moved her to the second phase, because the first one is like you go to the the room, and it's like a bunch of beds, so all the women can lay there. And that's the thing where like they check, and if it's not right, they send you back home, or they tell you to go walk around or whatever.
Yeah, they do.
So they moved us to the next room, and I remember she was like, it was just me and her. This is like 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and it was just me and her, and freaking. It starts to get like around 3:30. The contractions start to get more intense, right? They're slowly building up. So around 3:30, she's like, call the fuck, what do you call them? She's like, call for the epidural anesthesiologist. There we go. She's like, call for that guy now, because they tell you like past a certain point, like that's it. And she was approaching the point where they like, even if you go into labor to the next stage, they aren't going to give you the epidural.
Yeah.
So she was approaching that point. I think she was like maybe like an hour away from that point, or 40 minutes, something like that. So she called the guy, and the dude just like, hear like a knock, open the door, and he did it like she was sitting upright. He did it just like basically standing up, like he looked like he was like just half awake, just like kind of fucking doing it and shit. So he did it, got the epidural. Then they go to the third stage, and this was the cool part. This was like morning already, so he was actually born like early in the morning, like maybe like around 7 or 8 in the morning. He was born. So the last stage of it, because all of the other rooms were booked. This is the cool part, and this is Cedars-Sinai. It's like expensive fucking hospital, because they were all booked. All the other ones, like the regular ones, they put us in like the expensive suite.
Yeah.
So
they
that
had no choice.
Yeah, that room was massive, bro. That shit was massive. Half of it is straight up like an OR operating room. The other half has like a TV, Wi-Fi, couch, all this shit. And I was trying to get like Wi-Fi. That shit was not working. And then it came. Like the doctor gets there, and they start, they put her up on the stirrups. They start, fucking fisting and shit to see if the kids are gonna come out. And I was like by a plant. I was like this and shit, chilling. I was hiding. And the nurse is like, do you want to get closer? And I was like, nah, I'm good from here. Yeah, she straight up, she looked at me, she goes, do you want to get closer? And I was like, nah. I was like a good maybe like 10, 15 paces away from the bed. Like I couldn't see nothing. I was like by the window. I was looking out the window going, fucking, that's Wilshire, huh? Looking at Wilshire and shit. Yeah, exactly.
You're like,
look at that view. Look at that view.
Solo eso falta. Oh, look.
So it gets closer, and I just remember like the doctor was just like, he puts his fist in, he takes it out, he's like, and like time passes, he's like, so they keep doing that, so she starts pushing, and it's crazy because like they do it so much that just by looking at her and how she was breathing, they're like, no, that's not the right push. You're like, no, you're pushing. You're like, they're pushing through you're like, she's pushing through her nose. Like, no, that's not. She's like, and you have to wait for like a cycle, then you have to do it again. So every time it kind of comes, you kind of have to push it to help it happen. Like the body tries to do it automatically, but whenever the cycle comes, you have to like push at the same time, and then the baby comes out. So you have to wait for it, like it helps it. So you wait for like the cycles and shit. And he was like, no. So she did like 3 or 4 of those, then it started coming out. I cut the umbilical cord. And the baby was early. He was early like a month, and he was so freaking massive that his face was like all purple. He looked straight up like an alien. He was all purple. He was so purple, in fact, that when he came out, they thought that he wasn't breathing. So they started doing like they got like the crash cart there, and they started doing like this it's like a point test, where they start checking all of these things to see if the baby's actually breathing. But he was. It was just that he was so bruised because he was so big, and he was a month early.
Yeah.
So then he came out. She got to hold him. Then they took him in the back. This was actually like, I'll always remember this moment, because I came so close. I came like so close to crying. I was like right on the verge, and then some fucking nosy ass nurse and shit came and fucking ruined my moment, because it was just me. And she was like, "Do you want to feed him?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So she takes me to, and they separate him, right? And they already washed him and everything. He's got that new baby smelling shit.
Right.
And she's like, "Okay, I'll be back." And I was just like looking at him. I was just holding him. And I was just looking at him and shit. And I was like thinking of like so many things, like so many things that go through your mind. And she's just looking at this little baby with this purple fucking face. You're like, damn, That shit was purple, fool. Like, you see this background? It was like that. I'm not joking. But he's beautiful, everyone thinks he's beautiful. And I was just like holding him and all this shit. And I felt that shit. It was like this fucking crazy wave of emotion. And I was about to start crying. And right as I was about to, here you go. I found the bottle. And I was just like, oh, yeah, cool, thank you. Yeah, and it fucking gave me the bottle. Give me the bottle. But then I was like, get out of here, bitch. And I started feeding him and shit. I was like, yeah, I got it. Like, I fed kids before. I got it. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, would you like to be alone? I was like, yeah, I would really appreciate that. Thank you. And she left us a load of shit, and I got to feed him I was there for like a good 15 minutes just holding him and shit. And I was just like, damn. It was a dope ass moment, but it was like a scary moment. But it was just like, wow.
Right.
Fucking here we are. Huh?
So you didn't drop that tear?
Nah, she fucking. It went back in. It killed the moment completely.
Kicked her out of there, like literally, boom, get out of here.
Yeah.
Are you good? No, are you good?
Pretty much, but no. It was cool, man. That was that.
Sounds dope. That's
and,
nice.
Fucking, how since it's Hollywood Ghetto, fucking Hollywood story. When we were doing the tour, like a month or two before, this part was just funny because I thought the guy's reaction was funny. You seen the movies Harold and Kumar?
No.
Okay, so there's this actor. He's like a stoner. He's like an Asian stoner from Harold and Kumar.
Oh, those two guys, the
White Castle.
The Asian and yeah.
And the Indian dude, yeah, or Pakistani, whatever he is. So the Asian dude, he was having a kid too, and when we were doing the tour, he was there with his wife.
What?
They were doing the tour because we were just getting it. But I saw him, and I just did like a double take. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing here? But that fool thought that I was gonna be like, oh, bro, I fucking love Harold and Kumar, dude. That's what he thought was gonna happen and shit.
No, your face. you're like, bro, I fucking love you. Like your face dropped. Like, ah.
That's what he's probably thinking. But I just did like a double take. I just saw him and I was like, oh, cool. That's literally what I thought. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, cool. But then I was, I went focused on what I was doing. But then he saw that he kind of he disappeared. Then he popped up later in the tour, and I was laughing inside because I was like, bro, like you're not, like it's not like that, bro. Like you're not that important. Like I like the movies, but it's like, all right, cool. Like they're cool when you're high. That's about it,
But he chasing you down, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just funny. I was like, yeah, you're getting a tour because you're having a kid, and to have people be like, oh my god, you you're fucking awesome, bro. You want to get high?
Weed high.
Exactly. So that was just funny. That was just the fun. That was just the funny story and shit.
That's running into the guy from Half Baked right now. Like, come on, bro. Like, really?
Yeah, I was like, nah, dude. Like, but in my mind, I was totally like, yeah, I could see the average person fucking, saying some shit like this. That would be annoying. And when you do the tour, they show you like all the machine, like the suction machines that they put on their breasts to get like the milk.
Yeah.
They show you like all that stuff. Oh, you can rent this one. It's like, we take it? They're like, you can take it. I think they're like, you can take it home for like X amount of days for free, and then after that you have to rent it, or you have to just get your own. So they only give it to you for like the first, and then maybe like the first week or two.
Yeah.
Then after that, like you have to buy your own machine by then, or you can rent it, but you can just buy your own. They look at you like, just buy your own, you fucking cheap ass,
Right.
So that was that story, and then I fucking called my boss, early in the morning. I was like, hey, yo, fucking, I'm having a kid. I'm at Cedars. I'm not gonna make it today. She was like, great. Congratulations, cool. Oh, also before that, some months before that, I had my first panic attack. I remember I was at work, and I was just working, and I just started feeling this like I couldn't get like a deep breath. There was just like short breaths, and I just felt like this like this thing just like slowly creeping, building and shit. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, it felt like how having a bad trip. Like when the bad, like, you know, when like you've mixed too many things and like that shit just kicks in, you're like, oh shit, like, I wasn't planning for this. It felt like that. But it was horrible, dude. I had to fucking in the fucking dun, 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 I can just feel like it was just weird. It's like the weirdest sensation and shit. It was like really awkward because it just happened out of nowhere. It's like in the middle of the day working. It just like boom, just started. It just kicked in like that. Like someone pushed the button, it just started.
A father, becoming a father, because you were gonna become a father or what?
Yeah, it was like a few months before. Then I was like laying down, and they did like my vitals and everything. The doctor came that I work with. She checked on me.
That's crazy because mine was the opposite. But like I said, like because I was like, you know, planning on having a baby, so it's different, I guess. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so they were just talking to me, and I was like, okay, like don't trip out. But I was like, it feels like, I told them like when you. That's what I told the doctor. Like it feels like when you're like on a bad trip. So that's what that's the closest thing I can describe it. Like this isn't. It feels like a really bad trip, like an involuntary bad trip. And then he started laughing, and he's like, well, you are gonna be he goes, you are gonna be a father soon. I think it was like 4 months away or something like that. He's like, well, he goes, you are gonna be a father soon. He goes, so this is normal. And I started talking to my supervisor about it. She's like, yeah. She was having a panic attack. He goes, everything you described is a panic attack, basically. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. So they just let me stay. They're like, you know, I stayed in like the room for like 30 minutes and shit. Then I went back to work afterwards, and they just, you know, you know, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm good. You know, thank you for everything. Blah blah blah. But yeah.
Hold on, let me get something. Hold on. That's crazy. I can hear y'all. Damn.
Yeah. So we're pretty much about to wrap up. So the last question, or the last statement, would be.
Hold on.
How would you?
Yeah.
How would you describe, for everyone out there, how would you describe your view of what it's like to be a parent? And let me give you some examples.
I'm sorry?
Let me give you some examples. So when women do this, women hype each other up so crazy, and they're always like, it's going to be the most important thing that I'm ever going to do in life. It's so this, it's so that. But if you had to, you know, because men communicate a bit different. So if you were, for other people out there, how would you describe, and all of your accumulated experience now, you know, from your point of view now, like how would you describe being a father?
It's something beautiful, something that, I mean, there's no book on it. So obviously we learn as we're going. We learn from, I mean, we use a little bit of what, you know, we know from our parents, a little bit of what we want, a little bit of what we saw that we wanted, you know, all that put together, and it's something lovely, you know. I only have one daughter, so at this moment. You only have one child too, so we can relate. But yeah, you know, it's lovely. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't change the experience that I went through with Lily. Unfortunately, right now she's not with me, you know, and I have missed a lot of, you know, good things. But there's a lot more to come, you know. So me personally, I mean, I love it. You know, like I said, I wouldn't change nothing for it, and you know, I'm happy, and also I'm excited for, you know, what else, for what, you know, what else there is to come, you know, because, you know, she's still young, you know, so she's still got to grow. So I'm gonna be out there soon, so I'm gonna be able to see some of that grow, you know.
That's right. The best parts, because then you can be like, here, have a beer, have a beer with me.
You know, so yeah, and be able to go out, you know, and watch her, you know, just be herself, you know, see what, you know, she likes and what her character turned out to be like, you know, turns out to be like, or is in the process of, you know.
Oh,
hello? Yeah, my battery's like going low though. Damn, I just signed up thing. But yeah, sorry. But yeah, I mean, I love it.
How much juice you got?
I'm sorry?
How much battery you have left?
Like 10? I haven't even realized that. Damn.
That's okay. We'll end it right now pretty soon.
But yeah. So I mean,
no, really quick. So to add to that question is, how do you deal with the sex part, the sex conversation.
I mean, I deal straightforward, like when she came down last time when they told me that she kissed for the first time or whatever. Those are the type of situations I'm talking about, that I'm not able to be there physically, and I don't hear about this till like after the have matter and after they talked about it. Like kind of like fashion, you over here is like, right now, and then they hear about it like 2 years later, kind of like that. It feels like at times, So like when her first kiss, situations like that, and she came down here and this, and I talked to her, and she was like, and you got to think, I only see her once a year, so this happened, say like 7 months ago, and she's coming to visit me, and I'm touching on a subject that to me this is fresh, but to her this is like something she already talked about. It's already been and done with. She doesn't want to talk about it, so it got to a point where I have to be straight up, like, like, are you gonna answer? Like, not mad, but like, be blunt, like, do you like girls, or do you like what, like, like, what is it, just explain, like, what, because I was, she wasn't trying to like answer the question, so I had to be blunt. So yeah, at times you have to. So yeah, that was one of them.
All right, so for me, the sex question, I just tackled it fucking head on. I was like, come here. He was like, I think 12 or 13. And I was like, come here. Let me show you this. And I went on to Google and I started looking up freaking like herpes, gonorrhea, freaking like HPV. And I was like, this is what happens when you put your wiener down somebody's throat, or someone puts it down your throat and they have fucking herpes. They have like an active herpes infection. This is what it looks like. And there was a picture of like people, what it looks like, what a herpes breakout. But these were like really, exactly what I described. They were intense pictures because the guy had his mouth open. One of the pictures, the guy had his mouth open. You can see like the sores all the way down his throat. I was like, how do you think he got those? He got those one way and one way only. So I showed him that, and the same thing for like for the girls, the vagina. Like, this is what it looks like when a girl has herpes outbreak, or HPV, or all these other things. Talked about syphilis, gonorrhea. You start talking about all these things. But the cool thing for me was like I was having so much fun because like, here you go, want to see this video? Boom! And I was showing him like tutorial videos that they show us like in the nursing program and all this other type of shit. I was showing him all this just like the nitty gritty of it. It was like like if you go get a physical, they do these tests. You have to get blood. Then they tell you, then you're sitting there. Oh, do I have this? Do I have that? You're shitting it. And then they tell you the results. So I was telling him all that. So that was how I handled that part.
That's actually, that sounds good.
And
why didn't I think of that?
Because I was at that point, I was like, okay, this is fun now. Because you can fuck with them in a certain way, right? Because like the way that you do it, you're gonna burn it into their memory. So it's like, what's the best way, right? It's like you have a fun memory. You do it in a fun way that you can like look back. He tells me to this day like that's officially when his childhood ended. That's how he looks at it. That day his childhood ended.
Yeah. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. Fuck. That's the nitty gritty shit, Because at this point, it's like, okay, at this point, if you can create semen, you want to mess around with a girl, you can get a girl pregnant. Like, this shit is serious. Your body parts work, and for another girl, the function works, but you have no business doing this,
Yeah.
So you gotta be, straight to the point. And it's for me, because I work with like, females for so long, because the healthcare field is dominated by females. I always hear them talk about parenting. Oh, it's so great. It's so this and this and that. And they're like, what? It's like, how is it for you, Alan? And this is what I always tell them.
I'm literally going to have to hook that up on a horror. What?
No, it's all
Go
good.
ahead.
So this is what I always tell them, because they would ask me, oh, so how's parenting for you? And I tell them, honestly, they're like, yeah. I tell them, it sucks. So, fucking kids don't listen. They don't learn. You have to teach them. You have to teach yourself new ways to teach them. It's always like a learning thing. And you have to keep like reinventing the way you teach and all this other stuff. You have to keep talking and going to their feelings. And they look at you like, what? Like like that's not what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to say like, it's fucking great. It's the greatest thing ever. And we would argue, and I tell them like, look, this is the reality. I told them, like, it's great, you're a dad and all that. I told them, but this is just the reality of being a parent. Like, I don't have to lie about it. I'm not a woman, right? You guys talk to each other a certain way. So I told them, let me explain it to you this way. I told them, a cake, like you make a cake. The cake is primarily like the bread. The bread tastes good, right? But it's like nothing out of this world, right? The bread of the cake. And you have to make that. So I tell them, most of parenting is like that cake. That's like the day in, day out. Is like that. It's like the bread part of the cake. You work at it and you make it happen. I told them, now all of the other shit that you guys are all talking about, I told them that's the frosting. That's the decoration. That's all the cool shit that you remember, because like all of the day in, day out stuff, you more or less forget it. Because your brain just erases the stuff that's like common.
Yeah.
But like all of the high points, the trips to Disneyland, the first time walking, the first time running, first time riding a bike, all of that stuff, that's the icing on the cake. All of that is the frosting. But those moments, unfortunately, like the icing, like that part of the cake, is not the entirety of the cake. That's just like the top of the cake. That's the parts that look good and the sweet parts. But most of the cake itself, don't forget, most of the cake itself is just the bread that you have to work at making, right? Because most people don't make the frosting or any of this other stuff. It typically already comes made or whatever. So you just kind of have the fun of being artistic with the cake or whatever colors you want to make, or putting chocolate on it, whatever it is, right? That's typically like the last fun parts, because you're like, okay, now we're gonna eat it, and you're all hyped. It's like that is how you guys are talking about parenting, but it's like for me, because I'm a man, and it's you have to. Parenting is different from man to woman. It's like that's what it is for me. It's like a cake that is good, but there's nothing out of this world, and then like all the cool shit is like the frosting.
Right. Exactly.
That's my view.
Nice. That's dope.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense, because that's the truth. Because like there's a lot of a lot of hard stuff. There's a lot of difficult things.
Yeah, it is. It's a process, and then you get to enjoy it at the end. Yeah.
But as long as you work on that process, you're gonna have a pretty tasty cake.
Yes, sir. Well, I hate to tell you, but my phone is at 5. And I plug this bitch in because I still gotta call my mom, see how she's going to.
No, that's it.
Catch up.
That's it. It's an hour and a half. That's it. Told you it was gonna be a blast.
Yes, sir. It was.
All right, so this is Hollywood's Ghetto Father's Day episode. We'll do another one next year. And
Yes, sir.
Big A, Mike Mobs on Instagram.